It says we're live. This
All
is
right. Excellent.
And there's like an upgraded version too, so you can do like we'll be 720p, but you can go to 1080, and there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
different things.
That's pretty cool too, actually. That works pretty well.
I know you
I like
definitely
it.
gotta. I remember I used to like watch your live streams, like you were doing them like real consistently for a while. That was
Yeah,
a couple
it
years ago.
was yeah, it was weird because like in 2018, I think was like where I really got into streaming more. When I started up YouTube, like taking all my terrible early content like aside, like the streams and stuff were something I got really big into. The only reason I stopped really streaming consistently, well, two reasons. One, because life happens, people get
Right.
busy and all that other stuff. But the
Yeah.
main thing was YouTube implemented this feature in there where you have to have like 1,000 subscribers in order to be able to stream.
No
I
way.
don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they implemented that rule like a few years ago, like 2 years ago. I want to say now, something like that. It definitely wasn't last year. It was like the year before, which is
That's weird. I don't have 1,000.
which is weird. I've never tried it since then, but I tried it a few times since then. Apparently, according to the rules, from what I remember, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. You have to have like 4,000 hours watch time consistently over like a month period or something like that.
Oh my
And you have
gosh.
to have it's the restrictions are insane for streaming now. Part of the
Yeah.
reason why actually it's the main reason I haven't really streamed, period. Like again, I've been busy and everything, but I would stream at least occasionally if I could. But I
Right.
can't because YouTube restrictions, gotta love Susan Wojcicki and all those guys there for that. So
They've gotten worse and worse. Like,
yeah, it's insane. The YouTube landscape has changed so much. I remember like back in late January, I did a podcast episode with a buddy. I don't know if you've ever met him, Goof Norton. I don't know if you ever interacted with him or not.
I don't think so.
Well, he was like one of the first people I've met on YouTube personally. When I started up in like 2016, he's the second guy I officially met behind another guy known as Pion Slayer. Pion doesn't do YouTube anymore, but Goof is still consistently doing it. He's killing it with the podcast game. Goof is an amazing guy for that.
That's
But
cool.
whenever I'd met Goof for that was whenever I first started getting into a lot of that kind of stuff with YouTube. And ever since then, YouTube has changed so much. And we did a podcast episode discussing all of that, like again back in January.
Right. Yeah. I want to check that out because I don't keep up with it. I just kind of roll with it.
I don't blame you. Like personally, I haven't ran into like many problems like making content when it comes to being restricted by YouTube.
Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff like streaming, that's a completely different story. Streaming has been on the fritz like for the small YouTube community for a little while, unless you have at least one. I know the 1K sub thing has to still be a thing. Now the watch time, I don't know, but I'm sure that's still a main staple at this point. Would not be surprised in the slightest.
I know they're obsessed with that watch time. I know monetization was big on watch time.
It's nuts because YouTube is promoting so much more of that stuff nowadays. It's become, and I said this in the episode I did with Goof on his podcast, that YouTube has become a lot more advertiser friendly now. And if it doesn't align with what advertisers want to put ads on videos, then your content's either not going to get promoted, and for the case of a lot of YouTubers, it gets completely shot off the platform, assuming it's controversial now, because that definition's got to change too.
Wow, that's really. I've never really understood the YouTube algorithm either, because it feels like. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead, man. I mean, all I was gonna say was it's just random.
That's what I thought, because I put up so I do the Game Pass videos, as I've sent them to you a few times, and
yeah, I've seen them.
So sometimes I'll mess with the title just a little bit, but not really that much, and one video might have 80. My last video is up to 600 views right now.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything different. Yeah, I don't know what to do differently.
Yeah, it's weird because YouTube even admitted in the past they have no control over their algorithm. At this point, they don't even know what it's done. It seems to be, I've noticed.
That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy, I know.
Yeah.
But I remember whenever I've done certain uploads for videos, if I put hours into editing and making a video, the video might only get 20, 25 views. Yeah. But if you just upload a random vlog where you're standing there eating cereal for 5 minutes, that might get you 200 views.
Yeah.
Which is insane. You don't do it. You don't even make a thumbnail. You don't even have to put a title, description, whatever. You just put eating cereal. Boom. 200 views. Easy.
So how big of a part does the tags play? in that.
Allegedly the tags play a big part in, like, you look up popular YouTube searches and like the search bar, you add the tags into your videos from there, and then from there that's supposed to help promote your video. But I remember hearing talks from people in the past that the tags and like the hashtags you can put there and like where your title is, they don't do anything. Like it's both sides of it that I've heard either way.
So still nobody knows.
I mean, no, and that's the thing. The algorithm's been like that for a long time now, and at this point, there is no answer. It's just that messed up. It's just kind of chance at this point whether or not, if your video picks up steam, that's great, but a lot of your other content may not. It's the chess game.
I mean, I've tried to pick up some type of pattern on how it works. Like, I'd use the same tags because my biggest video went close to 6,000 views, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the same thing here on out. Like, exactly what I did in that video, I'm going to do the same thing. And the closest I got, one had like 2,000, but I can't get near it. Like, I just don't get it.
I can't blame you there either, because in all honesty, when it comes down to like something like the algorithm, the only people who can do anything about it are the people at YouTube HQ in Los Angeles or wherever it is. And if they can't fix it, unfortunately, no creator on the platform is going to be able to do it.
Right.
It's just how it's worked.
Yeah, and I feel like with if you don't already have like a big following, like, I don't know if you remember, but like a few years ago, I took like a year off. It was about 2018. It was when you were doing your live streams starting out. Like,
I remember. Yeah, that's right. Because I didn't talk to you much during that time, not because we were on bad terms or anything, but just because when I was streaming, you popped in a few times, but I didn't really talk to you much because you weren't on the platform.
Right. Yeah, I took a long break. There was a relationship going on, and it took all my time away. And
understand.
So that ruined me. Like, my following disappeared. Like, I'll have one every now and then pop up, but I've been stuck in the 300s for subscribers since like 2018. Like,
which I've noticed this with a lot of other creators that I think deserve a lot more support, like you being one of them, for example, from the small YouTuber community. There's so many YouTubers whose sub counts have seen stay at a certain number. Again, going back to this example, with like Goof, for example. Like, Goof does amazing content on his channel. He does podcasts. He's done gameplay videos every once in a while. He's recently branched out into music content, which is great. Everyone, if you're listening to this, you need to go and watch it. But he's been stuck at the same sub count for the longest time, and he deserves a lot more support, as do you.
Yeah.
And like for my channel, I've noticed it's a bit of a different case because I've been dealing with a lot of life stuff over the past few years, and school and all that other stuff. So there's been months where I haven't uploaded a lot of videos. Like, I'll maybe upload a video and then not upload for like 2 months and then upload another one. Like, that's kind of how the pattern's been for like the past year. So just because of life stuff. And honestly, it's kind of a lack of motivation too, just because the state of YouTube plus life stuff too. And forcing content is one of the worst things you can do on this platform, because if you're not enjoying making it, the audience isn't going to enjoy it either. It's just a classic staple. But it's weird for me because my sub count's been around the same, I think, mostly because of that. But the YouTube algorithm, I'm sure, has something to do with it. The cool thing for the case of me, though, is there was like a core audience of people that no matter how long it's been, they're still there to support my channel.
Yeah,
you being one of
I
them.
Saw that.
Yeah, there's Nightwing.
Awesome.
Yeah, shout outs to Funtime, Nightwing, Nukapia Demon. Lately, Ashka Schindler, I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong. I apologize. There's been a lot of core people that I've noticed on the channel that have been there for a long time. Funtime, Nightwing, and Jesse especially.
Right.
Been there for a while. There's a few other people too, but they're still around, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've got some that'll definitely stay pretty loyal, and I've just lost contact with so many. That's the real problem.
Which is weird.
And I feel like even with the bell notification thing, I still don't feel like it always pops up for people.
It doesn't, unfortunately. There's been cases where even big YouTubers have put out polls in the community tab, and they've asked people, does the bell make a difference? Because a lot of people say they never get notified of videos.
Yeah.
So at this point, YouTube enabled the bell to allow better notifications, but in the long run, for some cases, it hasn't really helped for a lot of creators. Maybe it does work, I hope. But I don't know. Like I said, it goes back to YouTube not knowing their own algorithm.
Right. It's just YouTube's just not built for small creators at all.
Doesn't seem to be at this point. At least it's changed so much to the point where it's harder to grow as a small creator now.
Exactly.
I mean,
had a moment. I
yeah.
thought about starting over.
Yeah.
I thought about deleting my channel and because I thought when I started out, I jumped to like 200 subscribers within that first year, and things were going well, and then I'm like, maybe my channel being the way that it is, it's about going on about 5 years old here coming up, and maybe the inconsistency and everything, I'm not able to progress because of that. I don't know. I'm just kind of lost.
Yeah, it's a weird thing too. It's like a very different dynamic when it comes to planning out trying to do YouTube, because I attempted to do that a while back with my second channel, The Nostalgia Factor, which is one of my retro stuff. Now, I love retro gaming and reviews and all that. That's been some of my favorite content to make YouTube-wise. That channel, though, after a while, I couldn't for the life of me tell you, because it's not my passion for reviewing games or loving games in general. That's not it. But I think it was just in the channel itself, the more time went on, because the videos that I'd produced, I wasn't proud of with some of my reviews.
Right.
And that really reflected with like the audience retention and stuff. And I think that's kind of why I've drifted more away from the Nostalgia Factor. I'm not saying I've abandoned the channel or anything, because I do love it, and it's a pure channel in the sense where it's nothing but gaming. There's nothing really else on there but that. But DeBoss is where I made my home on YouTube, and I've met so many great people like you, for example. And this is the main, when it comes to me being known in the community, for example, like by a lot of people, DeBoss is what I'm known for. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Because it's the biggest channel, and that's the first one. It's the main one at this point.
Right.
And it's crazy because I never personally thought, I'm sure you might feel the same way too, but I never thought I would ever get to the point I am on YouTube now. Like, subscriber-wise, knowing so many people, all the projects I've been a part of, all the collaborations I've done with other creators, even something like this. I never imagined I'd be doing something like this years ago.
Yeah.
And it's insane. It's crazy.
It is. I love just meeting people. That's something that I've always loved. I'm a people person, and I've definitely met a lot of really cool people. You're definitely an OG that I've met. That I am definitely one of my more fond people I've met. And stuff.
No, I appreciate it. Same to you.
Yeah, I always love your videos.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know. You've got that persona that it just fits well with YouTube. And
well, thank you. The one thing I've loved to try and do with my content is, no matter how badly like some of my early content's been, because they weren't fantastic, they weren't edited or anything else, but
Raw,
the personality, the person behind the camera is what matters, I think, too. Especially if you're well, I mean, if you're pouring milk on yourself, for example, it's the person getting covered in milk that you're watching.
Right. No, I love it. I love the mix that you have between, sometimes you'll talk about games, sometimes you'll just do a skit. I love that. There's a balance.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing I've tried to aim for with like the DeBoss channel, for example, too. Gaming is like a core staple of mine that I love.
Yeah.
But what got me big and what I enjoy doing was the mean stuff with the community, and in the skits, like the comedy stuff, like the random stuff that I would do for videos.
Yes.
I think a prime example and a reference to like me and you was the collaboration that we did. Actually, no, there were 3 different videos I could think of. The first major one I can remember was that DeBoss anime video from like 2017. It was like 2017, 2018 we did that
Animated?
one. Do you know the DeBoss anime video? Do you remember that one?
Anime.
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember that one.
The one where it was a part 1 video for a series I didn't really finish, where I was going to make my own anime, and you threatened to come over to my house and beat me up for.
Okay.
I told you that for the video. He didn't actually threaten me. But I mean, that was like the first big one that I remember us doing. Then there was the video that I did where I reviewed your channel.
Yeah.
I
love that video.
And then there was the other one that comes to mind was one that we did like I think late last year. It was the like horrible video games video where you talked about Walking Dead and I talked about Mission Impossible. Those are 3 right off the bat there. And I am pretty sure too, I don't remember exactly, maybe you do. I'm trying to remember how we first met.
That I was kind of thinking about that too, and
because
I'm pretty
like,
sure
2017, 2018, 20, it was somewhere in that range.
It had to be. It was probably late 2017. I think I started my channel in like It was around March of 20. Well, no, it was about March of 2016 when I
26.
started.
It was. I think it was like if I had to peg it for like 2017. If I had to take a guess.
Probably. I remember. I'm pretty sure it was through a group on Facebook, though.
It was probably. I'm trying to remember what that was for, though. If it was like a different video or something, because a lot of the things that I've done where I've met people have been through like interviews and like my failed attempts at podcasts in 2017. Like they're not great content, but they exist. I don't remember if that was it or not.
Yeah, I don't either. I honestly probably added you on Facebook from a group.
I think that was probably it. We probably got to talking about YouTube, and they're like, "Hey, I'm a YouTuber. You're a YouTuber," and we probably did something. I don't know if we ever did collabs on like your channel or anything back then. I'm trying to remember what video it was over, if anything.
I don't think I have done collabs, and I've always wanted to, but I feel like for me it goes back to that lack of motivation.
Yeah,
like, I get burnt out, like, and there's so much I want to do. And then it's like when I'm in the mood, I'm like, oh, I want to do this, and then I get overwhelmed and burned out, and then I don't do any of it.
That is like one of the biggest problems when it comes to doing YouTube, like over a long period of time, because I've been doing YouTube since 2016. You've been doing it since 2017. That's still several years for each of us.
Yeah.
And when you do YouTube for that long and you build up a following, no matter how big it is, and you do content constantly during that time, there's going to get to a point, many points in fact, where you're like, don't really feel like doing this much anymore right now. And that's kind of the point where I got, like, for several points during YouTube, like especially like in the past 2 years. Like I got inspired. Examples of getting inspired was the Chef Boss game.
Yeah, I love those, man.
That was a moment of inspiration where I was like, might as well try it. Why not? Because it was ironically from a live stream where someone suggested I do that for a video, and I'm thinking, why not? Might as well.
What I love so much about those videos is, like, for one, and I think you've got the right formula, is how quick they are, because they're very short. And I think, honestly, if you're a small creator, I think the shorter the video, the better. But yours is almost like a TikTok on the one that I watched, and I loved it. And I was like, man, that is so good. And then as you go along, you can develop it into longer videos. Like,
yeah, exactly. Because that was there's a few things I remember people saying, and like there was a YouTube I think it was a small YouTubers community Facebook group for a bunch of like small creators, or small YouTubers boost. It was something like that. There was a bunch of people in there who really loved the video and even suggested that I do like a TikTok and whatnot of it. Which, I'm not huge into TikTok, but maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for like the shorter videos. It really helps for those videos too that Chef Boss cannot cook worth crap. So
I'm the same way, man. I can't cook, so I love it. No, then you could use TikTok to promote your YouTube as well.
Yeah, that's something I've like heard about doing, because I know like Patrick, for example, like I've seen him talk about doing it.
Wow, but I did. Are you hungry?
What's up, Lau?
Speaking of not being able to cook, I got pizza.
There you go. You can't go wrong with that.
No, but no, what I was saying before was, Patrick had talked about doing like TikTok and whatnot, putting his shorter videos and stuff on there, which is really cool. But to me, I don't hate TikTok, but oh man, a lot of the stuff on TikTok I can't stand.
I know. I'm the same way. It is. It's the new Vine, and
it's basically the replacement for Vine. When Vine went out, people went to YouTube like constantly. I had like major YouTube stars like Jake and Logan Paul, like they were former Viners, the Viner invasion of like 2018, 17.
Right.
But when it came down to it, though, when TikTok opened back up, a lot of people instantly went there, and it became the new Vine. And everything that's been on there, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm sure TikTok is great for some people, but for me, for like half the stuff people do on there just to be dumb, I'm not into that super much. Being stupid for a YouTube video, like not being able to cook, sure, I'm all for that. That's comedy. You're entertaining people. But you're having like a TikTok of like pranking my grandfather by pushing him off the Grand Canyon edge or something like that's no.
Yeah, and
First off, you're stupid if you record that. Don't do it.
Right. There's so much dancing and stuff too, and I just don't care for that. Like,
Yeah, I can't dance either, man.
yeah,
That wouldn't fit me.
I
This
mean,
is this is my dance. I can't do anything else. That's all I can do.
that's like the white guy dance, just swaying back and forth. That's all we can do.
White guy dance.
Yeah,
Sounds about right. I'm
it
slightly
is.
tan, I'll have you know. I'm not.
Right. I could see you doing that though. I could see you making the TikToks just like right alongside
But
you,
yeah.
just
And
to kind of promote. It is a different audience on TikTok for sure too.
oh, I believe that very much. TikTok, from what I've seen, is a very different platform from even like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, any social media site you want to think of. Not just because
Right.
you can make short videos, but just the kind of audience that you attract on there kind
Yeah.
of varies depending on the content you put out. You could argue you put content out on Instagram or Twitter. It might not be a video, but if you put out a tweet or you post a picture, that's still content of sorts.
Yeah.
And that's still stuff, and TikTok is very different with that, especially with some of the more famous TikTokers that are out there nowadays that are making buku money from doing it every day. I mean,
Right.
it's nuts how much people can get paid from that. No one, I don't think, expected that when TikTok started.
No.
I think anyway.
No way. Not at all. Yeah, the things I've noticed when I've watched a little bit, my cousin sends me TikToks all the time. And they are funny, but like it's so different because it's like it's so upbeat and fast and the
Yeah.
edits are so quick. Like if it's a video telling you how to like do like a home improvement project, the edits are so quick that it's like a minute long video.
Oh my, yeah.
And YouTube, I feel like YouTube is just more thorough and
Yeah, YouTube's more structured when it comes to making videos. It doesn't need to be fast paced. It doesn't need to be done in like 30 seconds to fit the time into a video. You don't have to
Exactly.
do that. I mean, those videos can succeed on YouTube if you make TikTok-esque videos. There was one
Yeah.
video I did, and this was a complete joke. I don't know if you remember this one. I don't even remember when I made this. It was 18 or 19. It had to be one of the two.
Mhm.
Whenever TikTok came out, whatever year that was, I made my own. You know that song, So Why Do Good Girls Like Bad Guys, like when that meme was a thing a few years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah,
I made
yeah.
a video surrounding that. It was my TikTok masterpiece. It was 19 seconds, and it was literally just me voicing over singing the song because copyright, and it was terrible. I
You
just
put
did that to the camera, and I
you
ended
put
up
it
dressed
on
up in like I don't even know what I was dressed up as. At the end of the video, and people were like, "Wow, all right, you made it."
You put it on TikTok or was it
No,
YouTube?
YouTube. I didn't
Okay.
put it
Well,
on
I'm gonna
TikTok.
go have to find this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch this.
it's called My TikTok Masterpiece is the name of
Okay.
it. It was back when I was putting all caps in it, like, hey, it appeals more to the video, which it kind of does, I guess.
Right.
But that's just what it reminds me of, because I was like, there's no way I made TikTok content. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I made a parody. It was
You
like
did
19
make one,
seconds.
yeah. That's hilarious. My friend
Yeah.
Lyle's here in the chat. I stream with Lyle on Twitch.
Oh, really? That's cool. Well, hello
He's
there,
so-
Lyle.
He said once you get fans, whatever you do, no matter how stupid, gets a heck of a lot more exposure than YouTube on TikTok. And that's true. I feel like TikTok is so hot.
Yeah, TikTok has been a fantastic thing for a lot of people to grow, and it is a great way to have different types of content that's not like a YouTube video or like an Instagram post or anything like what we've mentioned before.
Yeah.
But TikTok, I can understand why some people don't want to do TikTok either at the same time, because in that is a lot of people interaction. Like if you're going to do a reaction to someone else's post, you're going to get trolled a lot for it, assuming you don't do it right.
Right.
It's an environment that's been created because TikTok and YouTube's the same way. Like they're not perfect in those environments. I've encountered some pretty toxic people on YouTube, for example, in the past.
Yeah. Oh man, me too. I've had a lot of trolls on Twitch.
Oh my! Actually, Twitch, I can't speak. I haven't really ever streamed on Twitch, but I can tell you from my early live streams on YouTube, the first 2 or 3 that I ever did, I had so many trolls in the chat, and it was weird. But the funny thing was, there was like, that song Gucci Gang that came out like years back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I did this, but I was like, okay, if we can get this stream to 10 likes, I'll attempt to rap Gucci Gang. We got 10 likes.
Oh
And I'm so glad I can't find this live stream anymore.
No, I want to see that one as well.
It's probably somewhere back in the channel, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I got to see that one too. You did well on the live streams. I
What with
remember
Gucci
that.
Gang? Oh, you meant live streams in general.
I mean, in general, in live streams,
I
I
was
don't
gonna say,
remember you rapping the Gucci.
I can't rap, which is ironically the origin of the boss official anyway for the channel. So I mean, I guess it's kind of
Well, that
tied
makes
into
it
the
even
background.
better though, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I even started doing YouTube in the first place and came out with the boss wasn't supposed to be my YouTube moniker. It was supposed to be my rapper name. Because for some reason back in high school, I was really into rap music.
Yeah.
Well, not listening to it, but like writing music for it.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine helped me set up a YouTube account. And eventually it got to the point where, yeah, rapping's not for me. So that's how I started making videos, and I just put it under the boss. And it's led me to this point.
That's pretty cool. I never knew the origin story to the boss.
I've
That's pretty
talked
cool.
about it here and there, but not like super in depth. I mean, there's not much to it other than I wanted to rap. I'm not good at it. I ran with the name The Boss.
Huh.
Here we are.
I didn't know that. I didn't know where that name came from.
No,
That's pretty
fun
cool.
fact for, I guess, everyone who didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Lyle said, absolutely, you're setting yourself up for huge hate on TikTok until you have a fan base.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's insane, especially, even just applying YouTube logic to that. Whenever you make a different type of video, if you have one certain type of channel, like a gaming channel, and you decide to make like a parody of something, for example, because it's not what people are used to, for example, you'll get more backlash because it's not what they're used to.
Right.
Which is why for YouTube channels, for example, if you are a YouTuber who makes one type of content surrounding like one specific game, don't do that completely.
Right.
You can grow your channel that way, but don't continue to make that content. Because there's been like one example I can think of was like the game Hollow Knight when that came out, a really good indie game. But there were YouTubers that are dedicated to that game, and they made pretty much every kind of video they could under the sun of that game. But when the game fell off out of popularity, I mean, it didn't fall off of popularity, but when the content stopped being watched as much because it wasn't new,
yeah,
those YouTubers had nothing else to fall back on.
Right.
Because any videos they would make got less views because it's not Hollow Knight.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And that's why it's a good idea to diversify content, which is why, like, for me and you, like, we make different types of content, which is what helps grow a YouTube channel more in the process.
Right. I've kind of fallen on, I'm basically an Xbox Game Pass channel now. Like,
good thing
that's
for you,
all I do.
Never going to die.
Yeah, I mean, that is the good thing. Yeah, it is going to keep updating, and I mean, I do need to branch out a little bit, and I want to do live streams like this and talk to people like you and make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I'm completely Xbox Game Pass and then a giveaway video, and that's my formula. Like, that's all I do.
I hope you have more success with them than I did. I tried doing giveaways in the past, and some of them
it's hard.
Yeah, I've tried doing them. I did like 2 or 3, I remember, like a few years back, and they just didn't really work out well. The last one that I did in like 2018, I think, I gave away a PlayStation card, and what I didn't know at the time was it was an American card, and the person who won the giveaway was from the UK.
Of course.
So I couldn't give them the code. So I basically bought it for nothing. I just gave it to Patrick at that point and shouted the person out. Like, that's all I could do.
Oh my gosh. Well, the last giveaway that I did, and this made me so mad. So I do the giveaway, and then I'm like, join my Discord, and I'll give you the code on Discord. And I've had people try to come in on Discord and say that they were the winner before, but I caught them trying to do it. So this time, though, the person came in, changed their name to the winner, and changed their picture to what their picture was on YouTube. The winner's picture. And I was like, okay, I didn't look into it. I was like, you know what? There's no way that they changed their picture to that guy.
There's no way they went through that much trouble for that.
Yeah, and it looked like a custom image that the person was using. It didn't look like something you'd find on Google. But turns out it wasn't them, and they took the code and then changed their name immediately after I gave them the code to what their real name was.
Oh my God.
I was so mad. I was like, so I had to give another code to that person, the actual winner, because they showed up like 8 hours later. Hey, I'm here. I need my code. And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So
that really sucked, man, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the tricky things when it comes to interacting like with people online when it comes to giving something away. Because you never know if someone's going to try and game the system, so to speak. If they're going to try and scam you out of it.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, in this case, happened to be the case. And people who do that, that's just dirty. Like, why bother?
So dirty. It's ridiculous.
I can't believe that.
And
My
I'm doing it, I want to give away codes and stuff, but I also want to build my channel. And I'm sure these people are subscribing for the giveaway and then unsubscribing. Like it's not a real
Yeah,
way to build a
that's one of the big things about like giveaways and stuff. It's one thing I thought that I had that mentality earlier on in YouTube, but I realized quickly that this isn't like it doesn't help your channel in the long
It
run. These people
doesn't.
only want and the good thing for wanting to grow a fan base when it comes to having a YouTube channel, having people subscribe to your channel that want to follow your content and watch you as a personality, that is the big thing that you want when it
Right.
comes to doing YouTube. Now,
Right.
when it comes to giving away gift cards and stuff like that, well, you know what? If you have a gift card channel and you get sponsored every video, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Go for it, I guess.
Right.
Which is basically what a lot of YouTubers have turned to. Like I remember years back, that was a big thing. People giving away like V-Bucks and stuff in Fortnite and whatnot, which was insane back when that game was like more popular. It's still
Right.
popular, but not when it was at its more peak.
Yeah, definitely. And the loot boxes and opening those and then like
Yeah.
the sponsored videos of giving those away.
Oh my, yes.
Yeah, I'm about done with giveaways. I put up in my last video the one that's doing so well, which I still don't know why it's doing so well, but I said if I hit 400 subscribers, I'm like a bunch of Steam codes, and I said I'll give like 5 Steam codes away.
Mm.
If I can hit 400 subs. I just want to get out of 300. Like
Yeah.
it's really what I want. I'm so
What's
tired.
your sub count out right now? 300 and
I think it's 365.
365.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make like 40 YouTube channels and I'll just subscribe to you.
I might as well give you the Steam codes now then. If you're gonna have that many.
I'm just gonna give them to people who actually use Steam because
There
I
you
don't
go.
use Steam.
Yeah, and not everybody uses Steam too, so I'm kind of like I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's more specific for people who are like probably like more PC gamers. Like they're more into using Steam. Because if you're someone who plays like PS4, Xbox One, or like any modern console like that, you don't use Steam. Not really.
They
Anyway.
don't. Yeah, and people don't really split their time a whole lot. They normally have a dominant system.
They'll typically stick with it, which is kind of why, like, for modern games, I really someday I want to get a PS4 and play a bunch of like the exclusive games on it. But in general, the games that I mostly play nowadays are either oriented to the Xbox in some capacity. They're either available like online, digitally, or physically, or I'm playing retro video games like on the PS1 and PS2 are the PS2 is like my favorite console of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic console. That's the main thing I collect for my retro game collection as well too.
Yeah, PS2 is amazing. I still have one. I love my PS2. Did you ever make a video on the new Crash?
I'm trying to think if I did or not.
Because I didn't see it. If you did.
Oh no, I didn't. I did not make a review of it. I played that
wanted the
game.
boss review of that game.
Yeah, I thought about making a review of the game. I got the game when it came out in October, and I played it, and it was a really good game. I mean, I could even talk about it here. Hell, why not?
Why not? Go right ahead.
Well, yeah. So you haven't played Crash 4 yet, right?
I've not.
Okay, I won't spoil anything for you because I know you're thinking like it's a platformer. There's not much to spoil story-wise for a Crash game. One thing Crash 4 goes for is like it's probably the most in-depth Crash Bandicoot story that has come out since Crash Warped on the PS1, and it's really good. It has some twists that you might see coming, but for a platformer in the Crash series, it's really good. They do a really good job of the characters. And this game has created a new universe, which means any Crash games coming forward, the other Crash games that came out after the original trilogy and Crash Team Racing, they're still canon, but they're in a different timeline. This timeline has the original trilogy, CTR, and now Crash 4, meaning any games they make from now, they don't have to worry about the other games because they're in a new timeline. They can make any other games they want after Crash 4, which is great.
That's really nice.
And I'll say this about Crash 4 too, without spoiling anything. It is a very good platformer. They have a lot better mechanics for the platforming. They have a lot more creative ways to go around levels. This is a very challenging platformer though. And this is one game. Okay, there's another thing I'll add, but after this, but the game is difficult. It's the most hard Crash Bandicoot. It's the hardest Crash Bandicoot game in the entire series. By far, in my opinion. It is but it's not to the point where you're never going to want to play it again. There's bits that you're going to be frustrated with, but that'll make you feel better once you conquer the challenges. And they do the time travel theme so well in this game because they're not just time traveling; they're going to alternate dimensions this time. They go to Mardi Gras themed levels. They go to the swamps of Louisiana. They go to they go to futuristic cities like in Warp. They go to an alien planet that's like a giant oil field that's being excavated and whatnot. They even go to medieval Japan. Like there's so much stuff. It's
Sounds like a Super Mario Odyssey type, like jumping
something
all
like
over
that.
the place.
The difference is with like each of the dimensions that you go into, there's like 3 levels each that you can go into, and it's really creative how they do it. The different gimmick. Have you played any of the original Crash games?
Not the original, but I did play like the remasters when they came out for Xbox One.
Oh yeah, that's close enough. Those are the originals, just with a remake, so that's good enough.
Okay.
Do you know the masks feature where you get like 3 Aku Aku crates and you're invincible for a short period of time?
Yeah.
Well, this game they have that, but Aku Aku is kind of pushed to the side more, both story wise and gameplay wise, because the big thing now is 4 masks known as the quantum masks that fit into the story. They have, if I'm trying to remember correctly, the names I'm not even going to bother trying to remember, but the first one's name is Lonnie Lowly. There's one where you can shift platforms in and out of reality and have the platform that way. There's one of the masks allows you to invert gravity and you can go up and down on stages. There's another mask that allows you to freeze time for a short amount of time to go over different platforms. And there's another one that allows you to it's heavier momentum, but you could smash through boxes and move faster, and you have better hang time in the air whenever you're doing the spin jump.
That's cool.
Yeah, there are 4 different. That's what makes this game different in the gameplay sense too. But I will say this though, if you go to tackle this game at any point soon, play the main story and see if you want to do this. Don't go for 100% completion if you really want to. I'll put it to you this way: it is not worth it going for like the true ending, which is a teaser after the credits scene. That's like 30 seconds long for the next game, which is cool to see. But it's not worth all the stuff you have to do, because all of the levels you have 20 some gems to get. I remember for different stages you have time trials, you have inverted stages, which they added to this game, which is like the reverse of a level but with like a filter over it, which is cool. But you have to do all that stuff in order to get the actual ending, and it'll take you so long, and the game is difficult enough as it is. You are going to hate the game if you do that. I would not recommend it. I didn't even try it because I watched the my favorite YouTuber known as Cat Icarus, my fantastic content creator. He made a video, I remember last year, like a full review of the game, which he doesn't do single reviews anymore, but he made an exception for Crash 4. He 200%ed the game, and it does not look worth it whatsoever. The reward is not worth all the pain that you have to go through.
So maybe beat it, and then if you absolutely loved it, go back.
Yeah, but and if you're willing to sink all the time and stuff in there, feel free. I mean, that's fantastic if you want to master the game, but you're better off just playing the story and then doing maybe some of like the extra stuff, because the main thing that you're going to want to do that stuff for is to unlock the costumes, which are for different stages are worth it. The costumes are worth it. You have incentive besides going for like the ending. Like the costumes are fantastic at this game.
Yeah.
They do. So if you want to, the only reason you go back for it then would be to get some costumes and stuff, which is cool.
That is really cool.
I think some of them are worth it now, but in general though, getting like that extra ending, that's not,
So you said it starts up basically a new universe. Should I play through all the remasters? Because I never beat all of them.
You don't have, honestly, you don't have to. The only game that you really need to know about for the beginning of Crash 4, you don't even have to know about CTR. It's just the ending of like the story of Crash 3. That's all you need to know. And there's not much, that's the most in-depth Crash story from the original trilogy. And even that's not a huge focus, but it's still a focus. All you need to know from Crash 3 is that the bad guys lost, trapped in a time loop. They're playing together. Power sources failed. Crash, Coco, and Aku Aku won, and they were stuck in the past as babies. And they had to grow up, and they were still trapped in a time loop, in a time prison at the beginning of Crash 4 when they break out, and that's how the game starts.
Oh, wow.
That's all you need to know.
Huh.
It is funny, though. Crash 4 has the humor on point with the story. I'll say that much more than a lot of the other games. And it's better than the Crash 4 of the other timeline that came out in the early 2000s, Wrath of Cortex. I'll say that much. It's better than Wrath of Cortex. That game is so much missed potential.
Huh.
Oh, there's another person here, Crazy King 03.
Hey, King. Yeah, King. King's one of my old Twitch followers, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
There.
How's it going, King? Um, I didn't know that Crash Team Racing even had a story, so I didn't know that.
The story is it's there's barely anything there. There's no real cutscenes or anything. The racing is the main thing.
Yeah.
The story of CTR. Do you want me to tell you it
Yeah,
quick?
I had the game and played it, but the racing, that was really hard.
The racing is different. I haven't played the remake, but I played a bit of the original on the PS1. The PS1 felt really good to play. It's like one of my favorite kart racers, but I haven't played the remake yet. The remake looks good, but I have no idea how it handles or anything. But I will say this, when the story of CTR is literally all the Crash characters band together to, even the bad guys, they team up with the good guys to stop an alien known as nitrous oxide from beating them in a series of races against a few bosses from the Crash Bandicoot series. And if he wins the race, if the heroes can't beat him in like the ending ultimate race, he'll turn the Earth into a concrete parking lot. That's it.
Wow.
It's stupid. It really
I'm not
is.
missing anything with that one.
The racing is really the main focus here. One thing I liked what the remake did though was there's actual interaction with the boss characters that you go off against, because there's like Pinstripe Potteroo, there's Papu Papu, Ripperoo, like you face, and Komodo Joe. Those are the four guys you face going up to nitrous oxide. There's actual interaction this time, but other than that, there's no real story. There's nothing there really.
Yeah.
I
kind of like though that they've put a story together. I would like that. I'm a big Mario Kart fan, and I would love for them to be like some loose base.
Oh, that would be cool. Like
I would like that.
That would be. I have a bit of experience with Mario Kart. I've played Mario Kart 8 a little bit, not much. What I played the most was Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart DS. Like those are the ones. Mostly Mario Kart DS, admittedly, but I have a bit of experience with the Mario Kart series.
Oh my gosh, Wii! I played so much of the Wii. I love 8. Yeah. Lyle said, "Yeah, story."
Yeah, story. Yeah, there's literally no story there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's cool that they tried something though. I mean, a racing game.
Something, but
to add anything to a racing game, I mean, that's cool.
When it comes to making a racing game, there's so few racing games I've seen them execute a story well, from what I've heard of. Now, a few games that I've heard that have good stories are like the Need for Speed games. Like they at least have decent stories. Specifically, Need for Speed Most Wanted and Carbon, which are actually connected to each other. Like those ones have actual stories to them. Now, I don't have Carbon, but I do have Need for Speed Most Wanted. That I do have, and I haven't played it yet, but I've gotten more into racing games. It was a genre that I was initially against years back when I was a gamer, but when I was a gamer, when I was starting to game, and now I'm more into racing games now as well. The one type of game that I refuse to collect, for example, is licensed games, because there's so many bad licensed games out there. There's some of the worst video games ever made have been licensed games, and or just really bad games in general, like Bubsy 3D, one of the most notorious examples of it.
I'm not even heard of that.
Bubsy 3D, good. You know what? You're one of the lucky few.
Yeah, I've not heard of that at all.
I don't know if anyone watching this has never heard of it, but if you haven't, good for you. Bubsy 3D is considered one of the worst video games ever made, and it was an early platformer made on the PS1. It was made by a company who works for. So they're actually the company who made Bubsy has made a bunch of other games, including the Uncharted PS Vita game. Like they made better video games later on, but their first early work, they originally started making like early like storybook stories and stuff online, like when that was a thing back in like the 80s and 90s.
Right.
But their first actual video game they made with Bubsy, like this bobcat who goes to space and fights off against a bunch of aliens known as the Woolies. And the game looks terrible. It runs terrible. Bubsy is annoying. He's more annoying than Sonic in some of his games. And I don't hate Sonic, but come on.
Yeah.
But the game, a platformer uses tank controls for one, like a Resident Evil game.
Oh my, yeah.
Which is the whole thing looks like an early text-based thing of like Windows, which is saying something because the design kind of fits what the developers were doing earlier on. But it's
This
one
could
of
have
the
been your worst game for our video that we
that
had.
should have been one of my worst games.
That
Honestly.
could have made it, yeah.
I mean, I've never. The thing is, though, as notorious as Bubsy 3D is for being terrible, and I refuse to ever buy it, I've never played the game, so I honestly
Yeah.
couldn't say the. I mean, it looks terrible. You can tell it's bad. Like everyone pretty much despises this game in the gaming community, but that's a game I've never played personally, so I couldn't add it to my personal list.
Right.
Honestly, I'd say probably the two worst games. There's not many games that I despise. There's games that are just kind of meh and not really worth anything. But
Yeah.
there are like two games that I play that I didn't like. Not the Walking Dead. That was yours.
That was
The
mine.
Mission Impossible on the PS1 and Devil May Cry 2. Devil May Cry 2 is the worst one for me because
I've never played that.
Devil May Cry is one of my favorite video game series, and the fact that Devil May Cry 2 came out in the state that it did, it makes it worse for me because it has some glimmers of like this could have been a good game. But it got to the point then where because of the development of it, it was just bland and boring is the best way I could describe that. And it's such a shame because that game is really, really it had promise. It really did because even the previous game, for as aged as it is a really good time. But
Yeah.
the second game, just everything else is just bad. That's what makes it worse for me.
I never had a PS1. I don't know if I've played a PS1 game.
That was like the first game console that I ever played.
Really?
Was the PS1. The other console I had early on was Game Boy Advanced. Was the other one that I had played.
I played a lot of that.
I mean, yeah, I think if you had to pick like Game Boy games that you played early on, like Pokemon has to be up there. Like that was one.
Yep.
That is like the main Game Boy like game series that people think of. I'm sure when it comes to like what series did you play? Pokemon. 9 times out of 10, it's Pokemon.
That's my childhood, right?
Yeah,
there.
like I didn't grow up with like Gold and Silver, like the original ones, or like
Yes,
the original Blue and Red. But
Yeah.
I did grow up with Fire Red and Leaf Green and Pokemon Emerald. Like I did grow with the remakes of Gen 1 and Gen 3. I later played Gen 2 when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out on the DS. I played Gen 2 then.
Excellent remakes too.
Yeah, they were really good. I really love them. But my personal favorite is Generation 3 for Hoenn. Like Pokemon Emerald is one of my favorite video games of all time.
I remember
It's
that.
a great game. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It
I
really
remember
is.
talking about that.
Well, the Hoenn games have a lot of things that other games didn't have from the Pokemon series and still don't have, which I really wish they would implement. But
Right.
still, though, really fun games.
So-
I must admit.
What did you think of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire?
Haven't played either of them, but from what I've seen, oh man, the games look good for a new generation of players that have never experienced it because Gen 3 was the one generation outside of Gen 4 that had never really gotten any other attention other than their initial releases and like being remembered as good,
Right.
but never really realized in like any modern games. So it's good that it exists for a modern audience now, but for me, they don't include a lot of stuff that made the original games really good. Like, they don't even have the Battle Frontier in it, from what I understand.
Oh, okay.
They don't have the Battle Frontier. They don't have the PokéNav feature, which was cool because the PokéNav feature is like the one series of games where you could go and you could talk with gym leaders and the Elite Four members directly and then go back and re-challenge them. It added a sense of personality to the game. And I'm pretty sure they don't have the match call feature and the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. They don't even have Emerald as a potential game for Gen 3 anyway. So
Right.
because Emerald's the culmination of both Ruby and Sapphire and the original Game Boy Advanced.
Yeah.
So I mean, like as far as the Game Boy games go, that is the definitive version to play. If only it wasn't so dang expensive.
Yeah. Right.
Because those games are very, very spiked. They've always been spiked, but now they're just a lot more in value. They're expensive. A loose copy Pokemon Emerald is like almost $100. A loose copy. Not counting a box or manual. A box or manual copy is like over $200 now, or close to 200. It's actually
Pokemon shot up, like everything has shot up insane.
Oh no, it has. Actually, give me a second here.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played much Devil May Cry. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, trust me, you're not missing anything with Devil May Cry 2.
Yeah.
I have a box copy of Pokemon Sapphire, actually.
Oh, nice.
I've had this it's one of the 2 Game Boy Advance games I have in my collection.
Is
Because
that
most of the stuff that No, it's not sealed. It'd be cool, but no.
It looks like
there's a
mint
box
condition.
protector. Thanks. It has a bit of wear on it here and there, but it's in really good shape otherwise.
You have a case on it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
protector on it.
Yeah.
It's fully complete and everything. Yeah, this game, from what I know, is going for. I'm gonna say the game's probably going for like 150 to $200 right now, fully complete, if not more. It might be more now. I'm not 100% sure.
Wow.
But they have increased in price so much. The one of the games from my retro game collection that I regret selling now, like looking back, I had a not quite complete, but nearly complete copy of Pokemon Gold on the Game Boy Color. I had one of those at one point.
Really?
It was really good. It was almost mint condition box, other than a mark on the back. There was like a circle mark or something, but other than that, mint condition box. It had the game, it had the manual, and it didn't have the extra Game Boy paperwork. But honestly, I didn't really care about that because that came with all Game Boy games. But the main stuff was there. But I ended up selling it like to someone in a town close to me who's a big collector of Game Boy Advance games. So I mean, I wish I hadn't have sold that one, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll find another copy one day.
That'd be something cool. I would love to collect. The only two cases that I have that I can find as of right now, I do have a Pokemon Gold box and the manual, and then I have my original Gold cartridge, but the box is in pretty bad shape. But
I'll still buy it off of you. I don't care.
That'd be hard. That'd be hard for me to get rid of. But the other one,
fair enough.
I do have the Soul Silver, everything. The Pokewalker, the box is in mint condition.
Oh yeah, I would hold on to that because I don't understand how. I think it's just because they didn't sell as many copies of it like as they were expecting. But the DS remakes are worth either just as much or more than the originals on the Game Boy Color. That's not good.
I have worth a ton of money. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I don't get it.
I think it's just because they didn't sell as many copies, I think. One, it's the really high demand for Pokemon games and Generation 2. But the fact of the matter is they also didn't sell as many copies as what you might think in, like, the US at least.
Right.
But so it's, like, more limited quantity and the fact that they're in high demand. I think that's probably the main reason behind it. Because you wouldn't expect DS games, even Pokemon, to be worth that much. Because... No. I will say this, though, like Diamond and Pearl are examples of games that aren't worth a ton, but a decent amount. But Pokemon Platinum is worth almost $100.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, which is the culmination of Sinnoh Generation 4. Which
is about to get the remakes, which will probably boost the prices.
It'll boost the originals like
And you know what? They make a lot of reprints of those games of like Platinum and Heart Gold and all that, and I think that boosted the original prices too.
They probably did too. Because a lot of people like to go back and experience the originals. When you play a remake of a game, like even the Crash games, for example, when you have a remake, if there's something you didn't like about them or they aren't as good as the originals, that makes people want to have the originals a lot more. Yeah,
and it's like your second channel on Nostalgia Factor. That's what it is. I mean, people love nostalgia.
I mean, yeah, people are so nostalgic for games, which is fantastic in itself. I mean, a lot of these old games deserve to be remembered, and when they're preserved with like a remake, like in the case of Crash or Spyro, for example, like on the Insane Trilogy and the Reignited Trilogy, it's fantastic to see. There are some games out there that I think deserve to be remade more than others, but, if they ever get revived or anything, that's great. But some games, as much as you might want it to, like, they'll never be touched again by developers, which is
sad, too.
It really is, because so many series and games just aren't made anymore that have so much potential in modern day.
I got one right here. For Nintendo, Pokemon obviously is my childhood. I love Pokemon, but as far as characters go, I love Donkey Kong, man.
Yeah, Donkey Kong classic. They need
Tropical
Freeze was like the last original Donkey Kong game, if I'm not mistaken, that Nintendo has made.
And it's the 40th anniversary, and Nintendo's ignoring it completely.
Yeah, I don't know why. Donkey Kong is a very popular series. It's tied to Mario. Do something with that. I mean, Mario is one of the most popular, if not the most popular Nintendo. Actually, no, probably the most popular video game character of all time.
Yeah, he's got it.
I mean, and probably one of the most famous mascots of all time. So, I mean, like, there's something for your advantage right there.
Yeah. And I know they're planning that Zelda anniversary special coming up. Yeah, it's like Donkey Kong's just getting left out.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda is a classic staple, don't get me wrong. Like, I would love to go back and play some of the classic Zelda games, but Donkey Kong, I can even admit, has been shafted for so long when
Oh,
it
it
comes to
has.
not having new games. Because the last Donkey Kong game I played was several years ago when I was a kid, and that was like the one on the DS. It was like, what was that one? It was a crossover with Mario. It was like March of the Minis or something like that.
Yeah,
It
all
was like
those little crossover games they
yeah,
made. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm definitely bummed. If they made a remake of Donkey Kong Country on the Switch or the new Switch Pro or whatever's coming, like I would be all over that. But it's not
oh
going to
yeah,
happen, like we just said. Like it's not going to happen.
oh yeah, that'd be great. Unfortunately, there's just some. It goes back to the idea of certain video game series that'll just never see another game in them. You
Yeah,
know, like Donkey Kong, I would hope would get revitalized at some point because it's one of Nintendo's like popular IPs.
yeah.
But there are like certain games and series out there. Like one I can think of from like PlayStation is a series known as Klonoa. Like that one is dead. It'll never probably won't be revived again unless it gets like a remake or something.
I've never
Because
heard of that one.
it's a very classic PlayStation platformer. The PS1 game is so expensive. It's like 150. It's actually close to $200 for the original PS1 game.
Wow.
I don't have that one, but I have the sequel in the PS2, and that one's gotten more pricey over time too. That game's like 70, $80 now.
Huh.
It
That's
has two
insane.
games. Yeah, it's now like an underappreciated gem. It's now known as. It
Right.
was insane in itself because the last game that came out of it was a remake of the first game on the Wii in 2008.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was the last game that I've seen. It has a few spin-off titles in like the Game Boy Advance and maybe the DS, but the last
Klonoa?
real, yeah, Klonoa, that's the name of it.
Klonoa. Huh. That's a
It's
cool name.
yeah, I mean,
What
it's
is
a
it?
good.
What is it? What is the game?
It's a 2.5D esque platformer. The character named Klonoa, who's known as a Dreamwalker, goes to different worlds and whatnot and saves them basically from different threats. And it's a game that's known as being very, very cute, especially on the PS1 with the enemies and the story and whatnot.
That's
It's
cool.
it's very emotional apparently, and I haven't played the PS1 game, but I've seen plenty of reviews on it, and it looks good. I haven't played the sequel yet, but the sequel looks like more of the same, just like really good still on the PS2.
Yeah. Huh. Maybe they'll just randomly bring it back.
I mean, maybe because I mean, like, there's some games and series that have gotten that kind of like announcement, which is
Yeah.
weird for some games because there are some series out there that have games in them that started off like being classic and like people loved, and then like there's a few games in there that after like the third game in the series, when the game didn't do as well, you never expect to see another game from the series again.
Right.
I think one game series that comes to mind that I didn't really expect a new game to come out for was like Life is Strange. Like that's one I was curious about because the first one's regarded as a classic. Before the Storm, which I played, was really good. It was regarded as good, but not as good. And Life is Strange 2, I think, did the worst out of the three of them. Not bad, but
Cool.
not as good as the other ones. But they're coming out with a new game this September, True Colors or something. I
Oh
think that's
wow.
yeah, it's a game series that, like I said, I haven't played the first game and I haven't played two, but I really, really enjoyed Before the Storm. Like, it was a good game. Now, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to True Colors. Of course, that's not my most anticipated game of the year. My most anticipated game is Resident Evil 8. Like, that's my most
Oh
anticipated
yeah.
one.
That
But
looks pretty intense. Yeah.
very much looking forward to that. I loved
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7.
Yeah. You're a
Like,
big Resident Evil fan, are you?
yeah, I've become a big Resident Evil fan this year, actually, because of that. I played the 2 remake, the 3 remake, 5, and 7 is of the ones I've played so far,
Yeah.
which
That's
are really good games. And 8 looks like more of the same, just better with Resident Evil 8,
right.
like, or at least compared to 7 anyway.
I was shocked that they took it that way. The first person horror, like
Yeah, I don't think anyone really ever expected Capcom to go that way with Resident Evil. Resident Evil is a game, like, for better or worse, like it's a horror series that has adapted as time has gone on, because they
Right.
went with the fixed camera angles, the limited inventory space, the over the top view. Then they went with a third person shooter kind of aspect with some survival horror elements in there from 4 through 6. And then after 6, now they've gone with 7 and now 8 with the first person perspective,
Mhm.
like in your face kind of horror. And it's adapted over time for the main series. The side games are hit or miss depending on which ones you're looking at.
Yeah, I've tried a couple of the side ones. Lyle said he's playing Resident Evil 4 right now, actually.
Well, that's really cool. Personally, for me, like the last Resident Evil game I played was RE7, and I think that one was probably, I don't know if it's between that one and RE2 remake for like my favorite one that I played so far, like
Yeah.
of the Resident Evil series. Maybe
Right.
RE8 will top both of them. I don't know. But it's between those two because I enjoyed five. I really enjoyed five, but it's not my. I didn't play co-op with it like a lot of other people have.
Yeah.
But the base game itself was good, and the RE3 remake was also really good. But I feel like from all the cut content that it had, it could have been a lot longer.
Mm,
Which
yeah.
is why I'm glad I got it on sale, like in January this year.
Right. Right. For sure. Yeah. Resident Evil is really cool. I was gonna say something. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. There's something about Resident Evil, but I forget. I've not played through all of them. Lyle tries to get me to play through them, but I played 5 and 6. And then I sent you that clip about 5 because you were gonna do a video on that.
Yeah, I was planning on doing a video of five. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I have to be in the right mind frame in order to do like a lot of those kinds of reviews because I just don't
Right.
want to chuck one out because like my reviews are like some like the best videos I think I make
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that kind of content.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a yeah. It's like I said, it's good stuff though. All in all, though, as far as the RE series goes, it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's what it was. So you play on Xbox? Is that what you
Me,
play?
yeah, that's what I mainly play on.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm the same. Obviously,
Plug
Game
in.
Pass, everything.
Yeah, the Game Pass. I try and take advantage of the Game Pass as much as I can,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of those things that's kind of hard to do when there's nothing available on it, at least during those times.
Right.
'Cause
Definitely.
the game I'm playing the most right now is the Mirror's Edge Catalyst is the one I've been playing.
Okay.
It's a very different experience for me. I have never played another like parkour style game video like
Right.
ever in my life because I know there's other ones out there like Dying Light, for example, but I haven't played that either.
Oh, I like Dying Light. That was
Dying Light, I've heard is good.
Yeah, it was good.
We're just saying something. The Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I know, is like one of those parkour games that it's regarded as all right.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from my experience, it has a charm to it, but admittedly, as a game, it's okay. It's nothing amazing.
Right. I've never tried that.
I mean, it's worth trying with the Game Pass. It's not worth paying $20 off of like the Xbox Microsoft Store. It's not worth that.
Yeah.
But it would be worth it if you wanted to give it a shot with like getting into the Game Pass. Like that much, I would recommend doing.
Right. I'm always looking for something different.
Oh yeah, that I would recommend doing that then, as far as the Game Pass goes.
Right. Yeah, I've been kind of in and out of the mood to play much lately. I'm trying to get back into the Arkham series.
What, Batman?
Batman Arkham.
Like Arkham City and Asylum and whatnot?
Yep.
I love Batman Arkham Asylum and I love Batman Arkham City. They were fantastic open world games.
Yeah.
I haven't played Origins, so I couldn't really speak on the quality of that one. Night I could not get into though.
Really?
Like, yeah, Night. It's just because the Batmobile, like the gameplay and the controls, that it's just not for me in an Arkham game. Like, give me Asylum or City-esque gameplay any day, but I just can't get into the Batmobile stuff personally. Yeah. And some people are really into it, and that's great. But for me, it's just not my Batman experience. It's right. I can't get into the car.
Right. No, that's fair. I could understand that. I'm trying to play back through Asylum. I've been trying to stream on Twitch a little bit, but I don't know. I've not been in a big mood to play really anything lately. I played a little bit of Fortnite because I play with other people.
Yeah.
But
and that's the thing. There's actually that kind of reminds me of something. The main game that I've played like multiplayer wise, like you're playing online with like a friend or something like that. Mm-hmm. The main thing that I've really enjoyed playing, Fortnite has been good from what I've played because I've played with YouTube friends and I've also played with like my own personal friends.
Yeah.
Other multiplayer games, I played Apex a little bit here and there, not too much. The big game I've played lately is Brawlhalla. I played a little bit of.
Oh,
that's a really fantastic game. I'm impressed with what they've done with Brawlhalla. That's been a fun game to play. Other multiplayer ones, I'm trying to think, what other multiplayer games have I played as far as like online modern day games go?
You like Overwatch?
Oh yeah, Overwatch was a big one a while back for me, like last year and the year before. I haven't played Overwatch much this year, like at all, but I respect and admire Overwatch for the characters and the story it tries to implement, which says a lot
Yeah,
compared to a lot of other online multiplayer games nowadays.
right.
Because I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure with games like Rainbow Six Siege or PUBG, you don't really have in-depth stories for the characters. You have a background, but I don't think there's like an overarching story. Because Overwatch has like comic books, short films, like a borderline TV show at this point.
Yeah, they
They
pretty.
have a lot of that stuff, which
And
is
then the
saying
sequel's
something.
supposed to have a campaign, I think.
I wouldn't be, cheese Louise, I wouldn't be surprised about. I'm surprised the original didn't have a campaign
I know,
with as much extra stuff as they have outside of the game. I'm surprised they didn't have a campaign or they didn't add one.
right? It was.
Very
Yeah, it's
surprised.
a really neat idea.
Oh yeah, they would be. Yeah, when's this? I don't know when the sequel's supposed to come out though. Like, is it this year or next year?
Lyle could definitely tell us that, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I want to say this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's next year.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Everything
be
got
either.
pushed back with COVID, so I mean,
Yeah, with the pandemic and everything else, a lot of games have been pushed back at like films and whatnot. I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised though if they tried to launch it as soon as possible because there's a lot of games I know are coming out like holiday this year,
yeah,
which there's like even the Pokemon Gen 4 remakes are coming out around
yeah,
around holiday, which is gonna say more than likely it's Christmas. Like it could maybe Thanksgiving or something, but it's probably Christmas.
yeah, probably.
Probably gonna be that aim date because like the other game that was revealed with like Legends Arceus, like that one's supposed to come out next year.
Yeah, that
So
looked pretty raw, like
yeah,
from the footage.
it's very very different.
Yeah,
It's like
I don't know how I feel.
It's like Breath of the Wild style gameplay. Not
Yeah,
saying it's bad because I spoke with a YouTube buddy of mine who's really big into Pokemon too, and he was kind of apprehensive about it too. He's not really interested in it just because it's different and the footage that we've seen doesn't look very well finished. And
no,
looking back, it really doesn't completely.
no,
I mean, if they improve it more, maybe that's just people are skeptical about it because it's different. It's not your traditional Pokemon game.
yeah,
It's not the main series. It's not the Pokemon Ranger series, and it's not like the Mystery Dungeon series.
right.
No,
And
yeah,
I think the most disappointing thing for me was like everybody's wanted this open world game, and this finally looks like what people have wanted with an open world.
yeah,
And they set it like so far back in time that it's
yeah.
like it's not gonna have any of the cool technology that Pokemon.
No, it's from what I understand, it's canon to the Pokemon series, but it's like the beginnings of Gen 4. Like it takes place like in the early days of Sinnoh, from what I understand, which is why like the character designs for like the two main trainers you play as,
Mhm.
they resemble the characters that you can play as in Gen 4.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're pretty much identical, except for the outfits.
Just an older version of themselves.
Pretty
Yeah,
much, yeah, something like that.
yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know how I feel about the remakes. Like when I
Remakes,
first saw that trailer, I thought it looked
yeah.
fan made.
Yeah, admittedly, yeah. I know it's still early works, but some of like the sprite work and stuff like that, for example, people have been memeing all over the place, and they're kind of funny.
Yeah,
I mean, like at the same time, too, though. I mean, you got to keep in mind if you're gonna do a remake, the Nintendo DS had sprites that looked better. I understand it's 3D and it's the Switch and everything else, but
yeah.
there's some improvements they could make if they wanted to.
I agree. I'm a big fan of Pokemon Let's
original.
Go Pikachu.
Yeah, I haven't played
And
that one.
that game looks amazing and plays amazing, and after playing it, I just feel like that's the right way to go with a remake on the
And
Switch.
Kyle, no release date for it probably next year. Yeah, I can see that
Okay.
being the release date for it for Overwatch 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see, like I said, if there's no I didn't remember if there was a release date or not.
I didn't either. They've
I haven't-
talked about it, but
Yeah, I mean, they've talked about it here and there, but I haven't really seen too much on it as far as like news goes.
yeah, they'll have to put out a trailer and everything, I guess, before it gets.
They have to.
Somewhat
Honestly,
close.
I didn't even know if they had made a trailer for it yet.
Yeah, I don't think they have, but I'm
Mhm.
not sure. Now I kind of want to look that up. I
See
feel
if
like Lyle would have sent that to me.
that's probably not the case. They probably haven't had a release date for it yet, which is understandable, I guess, because they need time to do the game.
Overwatch 2 announce cinematic 0 hour. So I guess there is a trailer.
There's a trailer, but probably no release date. Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a trailer.
Honestly,
I
like
don't know what that could even have.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm just kind of playing around on this as well, and they've got some cool stuff. Like I can add a ticker at the bottom too, which I don't have your channel up on here, but I can add it after the fact.
That's all right.
This has went really smooth though. I'm very happy with how this has gone.
Yeah, this is honestly, like I said, I've never used StreamYard before. I wasn't sure how exactly like the stream itself was going to pan out, but lo and behold, though, instantly jumped on it and boom, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I had no problem adding you into it.
No, and it wasn't any problem joining it either. It didn't crash or anything like that, like I was expecting.
Right.
It ran a lot better than, because I've tried even using like Discord, like for different things, and the face cam on that won't even work half the time. So
really?
It's good to see that this actually works.
Do you screen record that? Is that how you normally do it?
No, typically, well, like the podcast that I do with like Emilio, for example, like the main version's the audio version, so the camera doesn't really matter for that. But for like the video version on YouTube that he posts on his second channel, that's more face cam oriented, but it's not a huge focus because the podcast is a lot better on the online services like Anchor rather than YouTube.
Gotcha.
But no, face cam's not really a huge deal for that stuff. No, most of the stuff I've done through there, like when I recorded with Goof, it's audio based. Gotcha.
I'll have to check that out. I've not been able to check that out. But is that a weekly thing then you do? Like,
but with like mostly weekly. There are weeks that we don't record like tonight because Emilio's working on some other stuff. But in general, we try and record like every week whenever we can. Right. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of random BS and stuff on there, but it's a lot of fun to do. Emilio's a really cool guy, and it's been cool to do the podcast. It's been one of those. It kind of goes back to what I said like near the beginning of this stream. Like I never imagined I'd be doing half the stuff I'm doing on YouTube now, and it's just fantastic to see.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
That's just one of them.
Right. Well, we're a little over an hour. I'll probably wrap it up here, but this has been I've really enjoyed this. This has been
a lot of fun actually. With sitting down, talking, covered a lot of different stuff from YouTube, gaming, just a lot of cool stuff in general.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this as a weekly thing, and you're welcome on whenever you want.
Thanks, appreciate it, man. If I get time on certain days and whatnot, I'll happily join on whenever I can. This is actually fun. It's like a podcast, only a stream.
It is, and I don't know. I'm very bad at schedules, so it may be a thing where I just hop on randomly too. So I might be like, hey, I'm about to hop on if you want to join.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, this has been great. I really appreciate you, man.
Hey, not a problem, man. This has been fantastic doing it with you. For everyone who had tuned in and for everyone who will tune in, assuming that you can go back and watch the recording.
Yeah.
Like everyone who watches this or is watching this, thank you so much for joining in regardless. And hopefully you guys look forward to future episodes with Seafish here. Regardless, I've known him on the platform for a long time. Please go over and get this man over 400 subscribers on his YouTube channel, please.
Yes, that would be great. And I will post Ryan's channel down below if you have watched this, and definitely subscribe to him. And what are you at, Ryan? You're over 1,000, aren't you?
No, I'm not at 1,000 yet.
Where are you at?
865, 866.
You're close.
Something like that. Close.
You are close, man. That's 500 ahead of me. So you're doing something right.
You're gonna get there one day, man. I've known YouTubers that were smaller than me at one point, but whenever they just kept cranking out content, they grew pretty big. I'll tell you that much. Like Patrick, for example, he grinded out videos, and he's over like 1,000 now.
Is he?
He was smaller than I was at one point. I mean, he has a different channel now too. That's like 200 and some subs, 300 and some subs. It's a speedrunning channel, but he did that and he grew. So
I did catch that he'd been doing that.
Yeah, he still does stuff on his main channel from what I've seen. But like the main videos I've seen him do are like he's a really big speedrunner and he's good at it. But he's been doing a lot of speedrunning videos for that.
That's cool. I'll have to get Patrick on here and.
It'd be a good conversation there. Get to chat with him about speedrunning and a bunch of other stuff too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what would you say is your next? What's your next goal for
For YouTube,
YouTube for
my
for the Debosh channel? We'll
for the
leave
Debosh channel right now, like YouTube wise, I'm aiming on whenever I get the chance, making the best quality content I can, branching out and doing more cool stuff like this. For example, like meeting a bunch of cool YouTubers and doing stuff again like what we're doing here. And the main goal sub wise is obviously to hit 1,000 and kind of go from there as far as like channel goals.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I hit that at some point. If I don't, it's fine enough, whatever. I've had a fantastic YouTube journey up to this point, but I'm aiming to hit 1,000 right now as far as that kind of end goal goes.
Well, that is a very realistic possibility for sure.
Yeah, it's possible. You never know.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on again, and hopefully have you on again sometime soon. And
all right, that'd be cool to do. Hopefully, you have much success with this as well, man. Hopefully, you get some other really cool
I'm
people
excited
here
about it. If I can have a guest as good as you on here each week, then
I appreciate
I'll just enjoy doing it, if nothing else, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's the main reason you should do anything as far as that goes.
Exactly. I agree 100%. All right. Thanks so much to Boss. Everybody else, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
All right. See you later, everyone.